Hello everyone and welcome to Let Zoe Spoil You. A bit of an emotional one today because I've had a bit of an emotional morning. Those of you who know me have known that I have used my geekdom and my interests and my pursuits to help me cope with a lot of issues over the years, a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. My fandom has literally been my life jacket for a lot of things, and because of my fandom I've managed to meet people that have been in a similar place, share similar interests, find a partner who lives in the similar world to I do, and got a lot of joy and happiness out of it. It's been a bit of a struggle still. I'm still kind of going for a bit of counselling, trying to come to terms with stuff, especially as the date that my dad passed away is approaching quite quickly. But today I also watched the season finale of Glee. Now, I know Glee has had its ups and downs. The first two series were two of the most amazing, pioneering, shows on TV. It then kind of lost it a bit, especially when they introduced new characters I just did not care about as much as the old characters. Sometimes old characters seem to just disappear and you're like, where did that person go that I've been watching for so long? But you know what? I continued to do the one thing I wanted. People breaking out into song and dance. I love musicals. I love them so much. I love singing and dancing numbers. It kept doing that, and throughout it there was always Kurt, and who was strong, Kurt that was kind, Kurt who was sensitive, Kurt who was just adorable, and he always got such dramatic parts, and I'm so glad for Chris Colfer to be doing as well as he is. And yeah, sometimes I was on the verge of not really wanting to watch it anymore, especially when they had entire episodes at McKinley with the new wave of students, and I just didn't care. I just wanted to know what's going on in New York. But the last series has managed to kind of really pull it all together, bring back all the old characters, see how their life has progressed. The actual new students they got in for the final year, my God, they are so much better than the ones they had for the last two seasons. If it had just been these guys for the last 3 years, I would have been fine. I really love the way Roderick sings. I'm so glad he got that solo at Nationals. He was a beautiful voice. And everything has been concise and far more entertaining and touching. But the reason that Glee is such a big deal for me will always be the fact that it was the one TV show that was kind of there for me when I needed something most. I will never forget, it was series 2 when Kurt's dad has a heart attack, and it was the same time that I found out that my dad had terminal cancer. And I'll never forget Chris Colfer singing I Want to Hold Your Hand about the relationship between him and his father. That song to me will go down as one of the most powerful and moving songs from television, from film, from stage, from whatever you want to call it, because at that moment I knew exactly how Kurt felt. And at that moment someone else found a way to express what I was going through. And to the point where at my dad's funeral we played Chris Colfer's rendition of I Want to Hold Your Hand, and that was the song that we all came into the church and the crematorium for, to say goodbye to my dad, because that was a very touching moment. Glee was also literally 2 weeks after my father's funeral, had the funeral episode, which again was oh my goodness, how does this show know that I needed help, I needed to see what I was going through. So when you're going through mass grief, sometimes you try to escape from the pain and what's happening to you, and you need a different outlet for it. So it was taking the things that I was grieving about and making touching, beautiful, singing, dancing spectaculars that were amazingly well done. And it was allowing me to grieve for fictional characters, so that because I wasn't ready to grieve about what was going on in my own life. As it progressed and as I rewatched them, it meant that I had something that I knew would touch me, so I could grieve for my own life. I could grieve for the loss of my father, because I was invited to. I was invited to be touched and moved, and to know, it's tough, and there are songs out there, and there are other people that are feeling these, these feelings really, and if life was a musical, then some of these songs I wish had been played, and in some of these songs I did play. I Want to Hold Your Hand was the funeral song for my dad, and that was important to me. So no matter what the ups and downs of Glee, it's an important show. When I needed cheering up, it cheered me up. When I needed something to understand, it understood. When I needed to escape my own pain, it let me. When I needed to face it, I did that. I've always been the awkward, the weird, the antisocial kid. I had my select friends in school and our little groups and stuff. I knew that. I can't sing or dance, but in my own way, I was the misfit that Glee allowed you to be. You could be the loser that was cool. You could go on to do something great. Because of that, little things, I kept dreaming. Now I'm living in a beautiful city, doing a job I love, creating a manga group, getting in contact with other manga promoters and organisers to bring more events to Bath. I've got involved with an art group and we've got our first exhibition in May, and I'm painting and creating things again. I'm writing. I want to write up all these things that I've gone through and how the fact that fandom has been a life jacket to me, and how geek is not always about escaping, and collecting is not all about just money and commercialism. It's actually a wonderful way to, put your heart and soul into something. And it's helped me a lot being part of a fan community, going to conventions, dressing up in cosplay gave me the confidence to do so much that I wouldn't have done as Just Zoe. So it is very sad that Glee has come to an end, but at the same time, it was ready. It had gone on too long. It wasn't as crisp as it was at the beginning, but it told its story. It ended beautifully. Everything felt like it came together the way you wanted to. There was no disappointment in that season finale for me, none whatsoever. It made me cry, it made me laugh, and it made me just happy to be a Gleek. And I'm so glad that I had that for the last 6 years. I'm so glad for it, because otherwise, who knows what outlets I would have had for all the turmoil that was going. Who knows what I would have been listening to during my father's funeral. I wouldn't have discovered Harry Shum Jr.'s The LXD if it wasn't for Glee, because I was like, this guy's really hot, I love his dancing, what else has he done? Then I discovered The LXD, and I remember just after Daddy passed, all I did for 2 weeks was lie in my bed and watch dance videos. That's all I wanted. All I wanted to do was watch my favourite bits from Glee, The LXD, Harry Shum Jr. dance videos and performances by John Barrowman. Some of the happiest things, because everything else didn't make me happy, and dancing and watching people with all this talent and energy and who are able to express their feelings through their passion and their movements and through their song, that meant a lot to me. So part of me is sad to have seen such an important thing go. Part of me is glad that it went out on such a high, and I'm just thankful that it existed, and I'm just thankful that I was able to be part of a Gleek fan community, and that it was really touching and really powerful to me. Hopefully now something new will come along and touch me and move me in the same way. There's a lot of great TV shows I'm watching, there's a lot of great anime I'm watching, but I'll update on all of them later. For now, I just wanted to bid my farewell to Glee and to thank it for being the fandom that helped me get through some of the worst moments I ever went through. And for that, I will always be a Gleek and a true Glee fan. This is Zoe, signing off. I will talk to you all soon when maybe I'm a little less emotional.